In this video, I will show you how to make a basic cover or hood for dome-shaped K-pop light sticks like this Carat Bong. I have long been looking for a tutorial for crocheted light stick covers, but I haven't found any, so I decided to make one in case there are other fans out there searching for something similar. I tried to keep the stitches as simple as possible so even beginners can easily make it. Depending on the type of yarn you will be using, it's also super light, so it wouldn't add much weight to your already heavy light stick. For this project, you will need the following materials. You can actually use any type of yarn. I just decided to go with velvet yarn because I like its texture and the stitches are easier seen than when I used fluffy or plush yarn. For the top of the cover, start by making a slip knot. Make sure that the loop is not too tight, just like this, and then chain 2. There you go. This will serve as the foundation of your light stick cover. See that first chain you made? You will be placing 6 single crochets in there. So insert your hook, pick up the yarn, and then pull through both loops. As mentioned earlier, you will be making 6 of these stitches around the first chain. Once you've made 6 stitches, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we'll be starting the second round by increasing in every stitch. Insert your hook into the very first stitch of round 1 and then make a single crochet. To keep track of the rounds, take a stitch marker and then secure it in the first stitch you made for the current round you're working on. Then continue by completing your first increase in that same stitch. You will be placing 2 single crochets in each stitch for the remaining stitches in the round. You'll end up with 12 stitches for round 2. Just a tip, you'll know that you made the right count for each round if you're placing an increase in the last stitch for the round. This is how 2 rounds look. Let me just take off the stitch marker so we can start with the third round. So for round 3, we'll be alternating between a single crochet and increased stitches. Starting with a single crochet right here. Don't forget to put the stitch marker back in place. And then for the next stitch, place 2 single crochets in one stitch for your increase, like so. Then another single crochet in the next stitch and increase after. Follow this pattern for the rest of the round. You will have 18 stitches in total by the end of this round. Again, you will know if you counted right if you're placing an increase in the last stitch of the round. Oopsie. So that's 3 rounds. We'll now start with round 4, following 2 single crochets and an increase. So start with a single crochet immediately in the first stitch. Don't forget to put your stitch marker back in place so that you don't get lost. And then another single crochet in the next stitch before placing your increase in the next. Just like in the previous rounds, you will be following the same pattern for the rest of round 4. You'll have 24 stitches in total once you've completed this round. To start round 5, take the stitch marker off in the meantime, and then you're working to make the circle wider, so you will be alternating between 3 single crochets and an increase throughout this entire round. So start with a single crochet, then put the stitch marker back in place, and proceed to make 2 more single crochets in the next 2 stitches before making an increase. In fact, you'll be increasing this way for the rest of the top of the Lightstick cover until you reach round 8, which follows 6 single crochets, then increase. This will result in 48 stitches in total. Then for round 9, you will simply make single crochets in every stitch, maintaining 48 stitches in total. Once you're done with round 9, the top of your Lightstick cover should look like this. The edges are also slightly curling upwards, which is what we want. We don't like it to look too flat. The top measures about 11 cm in diameter. If your Lightstick is bigger than a Carat Bong, then you can just make more increase rounds after round 8 until the top fits about 1/4 or 1/3 of your Lightstick's head. At this point, we'll be counting 16 stitches from the stitch marker. This will serve as some sort of a window so your Lightstick will peek through. There it is, so place a stitch marker right there. I've got my Carat Bong right here so I can show you how it's supposed to look like. You can actually make the distance wider than 16 stitches if you want. Up to 20 stitches is fine, I would say. Then at the back side, we'll be working on the rest of the cover. I've already snipped the yarn because I will be using 2 colors. But if you're going to use just 1 color, don't snip and just continue on. In my case, I will join the pink yarn with the white yarn like so. And then chain 1 and flip it over to the other side. So basically, you will be making a single crochet over every stitch below. You'll have to hold the loose ends in place as you will be stitching over them to hide them as you go. make your first single crochet. Always hold the loose ends in place. And then we'll be making this for about 15 rows, up until we reach the next stitch marker. So you can cut the loose ends once you've stitched quite far enough for it not to unravel, and then just continue. Once you've reached the end of the row, chain 1 and flip over to single crochet your way across the row once again. As I've mentioned earlier, you will be following this pattern for about 15 rows, not increasing, never decreasing, just placing a single crochet in every stitch up to the end of the row. Once you're done with all 15 rows with the last stitch locked and the loose ends woven in, you can take your light stick and see how it looks with the cover on. At the base, you'll need something to hold the cover in place. This is where the ribbon comes in. We'll set the light stick aside for now and kinda sew the ribbon across the base of the cover. I'll be using my hook for this, pulling the ribbon through one side, then the other across, like so. You can also use a wide-eyed needle, but I prefer using a hook. However, if you do use a hook, be careful not to pull any of the stitches in the cover because that will damage your project. This is the base of the cover. The ribbon stitches look nice and neat as you can see, and you can really get accurate with the distance of each stitch if you want, but I ain't got time for that. Snip the ribbon to a length enough to make a bow, like this, and then take your light stick and position it accordingly so you can tie the bow. I'm not really good with tying bows, but I will try. This is a lot like tying shoelaces back in kindergarten. Oopsie, there. That looks nice enough. Okay. Ta-da! I have here my Bonbongi umbrella pouch, which I got from the merch stall when I attended 17's Diamond Edge concert years ago. Obviously, the light stick cover is inspired by it, with a pink top and white body. Bonbongi also has a diamond right here, so you might want to add your own adornment to your cover. What I did with mine was I crocheted this blue rose and sewed it at the top like this. But really, it's up to you to customize your light stick cover. You'll do a better job than I did for sure. Now, if you're an advanced crocheter, you can also use plush yarn to make softer and fluffier light stick covers. It can be pretty tricky though, because you could barely see the stitches below. Trust me when I say that it could be quite a struggle. This is the one I made with a felt diamond on top, which I outlined with embroidery. Since it's a lot thicker, I used less stitches compared to when I used velvet yarn. So that's pretty much it. I think there's no right or wrong way to go about this project as long as you're happy with your output. You can even make as many as you want and give them away as presents to your fandom mutuals. They'll absolutely love it. If you're gonna make a crocheted lightstick cover following this tutorial, please tag me to your completed project on Instagram. I'd be super thrilled to see it. As always, thanks for watching!